doggy. Welcome to the third episode of the Xevi Had a Problem podcast.
We don't have to start like that.
No, we're going to start like that. We're actually just going to start like that. This is my producer / sister, Menda. She's going to be coming along this journey with us. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube got a video version of the podcast. Spotify also has a video version of the podcast as well. And again, like always, thank y'all so much for tuning into the podcast, tuning into the last two podcasts like y'all did. Y'all show so much love. I can't thank y'all enough. Now, today we're going to do something a little bit different. As many of you may know, I make TikTok videos, I make YouTube videos where I tell folks the story, starting with so-and-so had a problem, right? Then again, we proceed to talk about that problem. But when I talk about these problems, I usually just tell y'all the story as they go, straight up. I don't get into speculation at all. I don't get into anything that's not a 100% fact. That being said, this video, we're going to dive into a little bit of speculation. We're going to dip our toe in the land of speculativity. And when I say speculation, I don't mean just random wild theories. I mean theories that have so much weight in them that it's hard not to call it a fact. You'll see what I mean as we go on through the video. But basically the whole point of this video is me asking myself, how much evidence do you need before something is just a fact? How much evidence do you need to push past that speculative barrier? Okay, let's just get straight to it with an example. And we're going to start with some light stuff, and then we're going to get into some more heavy stuff, some more heavy speculation. We'll start with Justin Bieber hating his wife. Speculatively. Now, you see what I'm saying with speculation? I'm not going to sit here and say 100% fact, oh, Justin Bieber don't rock with his wife. By the way, he's married to someone named Hailey Bieber. But people speculate that Justin Bieber is not a big fan. We're not going to get too into the marriage because we're not trying to get into the land of mess, but we're just going to stick to things that encompass the topic of this video. Okay, so Justin Bieber married to someone named Hailey Bieber again. But before that, he was in a relationship with someone named Selena Gomez, in a relationship for a long time. He says, the love of my life, blah, 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 blah.
10 years.
10 years? Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez was together for 10 years? Mm-hmm. Ah, damn. Okay, so they was together for a good little while. So 10 years is a long time. But after they break up, 6 months later, he jumps into a relationship with somebody named Hailey Bieber. Okay, so just recently, Selena Gomez announces that she's getting married. Justin Bieber all of a sudden starts crashing out. Okay, timing, very coincidental. People are saying, ooh, we speculate that Justin Bieber is crashing out because he still loves Selena Gomez and he's not a fan of his current marriage. Okay.
Well, one of the posts that he had done in his crash out was making fun of how girls act when they get a ring or they get engaged.
Wow. That's very coincidental, right?
Very coincidental, I would say.
Yeah. So the whole point of that is, when do you call that a fact? When do you say, oh, you know what? He did that because of Selena Gomez. That's exactly why he did that. Because Justin Bieber, he not coming out and saying, oh, by the way, I did that for Selena Gomez. Matter of fact, Justin Bieber don't say a word about nothing. Justin Bieber don't do no talking. And I do respect that. He likes his privacy. He's been famous for a long time. He doesn't need to justify himself because it's never going to touch his dollars. It's never going to touch his numbers. Justin Bieber damn near probably one of those people that could do whatever he wants and he's still gonna make that cash. I feel like Justin Bieber could walk around saying the N-word and people will make excuses for, but you think he'd get away with that? Man,
he has gotten away with that. He said it before.
What you mean?
Remember
Wait, what?
That one clip of that famous one less lonely.
No, Justin Bieber didn't do that. Nah, Justin Bieber didn't do that.
It's literally a famous clip.
What? Like recently?
Look it up. No, he was like a teenager. Like,
oh,
probably like,
damn.
This is around the time where he was trying to break out from being like, the Justin Bieber swoop, and he was trying to do his rap thing.
Okay.
Boyfriend.
Well, okay.
Part of being black is saying the N-word, apparently. So
that's wild. So okay, so let's say he does it like right now. He's just like, man, these niggas tripping, right? So I feel like I feel like people be like, Justin's under a lot of stress right now.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Justin could get away with a lot. Let's just put it like that.
His fans will sell us out.
Justin could get away with a lot. So he doesn't have to come out and justify it. Matter of fact, he could say that and disappear. His fans will jump in front of him and be like, Justin going through a lot.
He's going through a hard time right now.
Going through a lot. People going to look at Justin. Justin finna be like, Justin don't gotta say a word. Justin don't gotta say a thing. That's Justin Bieber. So
yeah, I think he's like one of the last true icon celebrities
that doesn't have to
say what you want about his music, whatever. The way people were feral for him at the time, including me,
that's facts.
We don't really get a lot of that anymore. So I think he's like almost untouchable level.
Yeah. Absolutely.
With his fans.
I was about to ask, who else is untouchable? But you see, that's when we start diving so far away from the point. Man, hold on. Before we get into that, let's go back a little bit. So Justin Bieber don't like to say too much. So he don't say too much with his whole marriage situation. So everything you're about to hear that fans are heavily speculating, Justin Bieber has not confirmed or denied anything. Okay. So Justin Bieber also says, look, I feel like my marriage was an arranged marriage. People say, ooh.
Okay, so he had said to Demi Lovato, who was hosting the Ellen DeGeneres show at the time.
Shout out Demi.
5 years ago, yeah. Quote, she was raised Christian and they found out that I think it was an arranged marriage, I'm pretty sure, he told Lovato. Looking back now, it was definitely arranged marriage. They set the whole thing up since she was raised Christian. Mm-hmm. Her dad was like, I want to introduce you to Justin and his mom. They have similar values and believe the same thing that we do. Okay. We think you guys would be good friends. It was definitely an arranged marriage. Now I didn't think about it. Goodness gracious. He didn't have to say arranged marriage like 3 times.
He didn't have to say goodness gracious. Ooh.
Gee willikers.
So when folks say goodness gracious, they serious.
Holy moly.
Goodness. Oh my goodness. Holy guacamole. Boy was straight up serious. He said goodness gracious. Yeah, he ain't lying. But people automatically said, we got you. Justin, just tell us what it is. You feel like you're in an arranged marriage, this and that. Justin didn't say a word. Justin don't do too much talking. So this is my whole point of the video. At what point can you say, ooh, okay, Justin Bieber does not rock with his marriage. Justin Bieber is crashing out because he found out somebody he really loved is getting married. At what point do you say it's not speculation and it's a fact? You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's just ironic because he's doing all this while literally having a wedding ring on. So I'm just kind of confused.
Well, feelings are feelings, right? Feelings are feelings. Who knows what's actually going on behind the scenes? Who knows what Justin's actually thinking? And who knows this, that, and the third? All you could do is speculate, right? Even though some of these speculations might have a lot of evidence behind them. Another speculation that has a lot of evidence behind it is Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic getting traded from the Dallas Mavericks to the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, if everything I said sounds like gibberish to you, we're talking about basketball. We're talking basketball. Luka Doncic, fantastic basketball player, like close to GOAT status. Let's just say he's closer to LeBron, Kobe, Michael Jordan than he is to. I'm about to disrespect somebody than he is to
Kendrick Perkins.
Kendrick Perkins is a great example.
Oh, I'm closer to Michael Jordan than Kendrick Perkins.
Now you wildin'. But yeah, let's just say. But yeah, let's just
You have to get me.
But you are speaking facts. So Luka Doncic is definitely closer to Michael Jordan than he is to Kendrick Perkins. He's in the upper echelon. All right. So
I would imagine.
Right, but most importantly, he is beloved by the city of Dallas. And when you're a basketball player beloved by your city, you usually don't get traded. It's insane. But Dallas Mavericks decided, anyway, you know what? We're just going to trade him. Dallas fans said, okay, who are you going to trade him for? We getting LeBron? We getting Steph Curry? Who we getting? Dallas Mavericks said, Anthony Davis? Now, for those of you that don't know, Anthony Davis is a very good player. Would any team on planet Earth trade Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis? 99% no. Okay, it's not a good trade to make. We're not going to get into the logistics of it because we want to stay on topic of the video, but you just don't trade Luka for Anthony Davis. Even if they're on the same level of talent, Luka Doncic is so beloved by his city that it would be a massive disrespect to fans to do that. and you don't want to go against the fans. They're the ones who keep your fan base alive.
And just for the girls and the girls, if you're a little confused, it would be like One Direction trading Harry Styles for like Justin Timberlake.
That's a great example.
Like, get his old ass out here. Like, he's a good singer. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's a good singer, but he got hits. He got hits.
He do got hits and all that. He do got hits, but come on.
But this Harry Styles.
Harry Styles, you know what I'm saying? Come on now. That would be a wild trade. That would be a wild trade. Would you trade Harry Styles for Usher though? Like in One Direction, would you trade it for Usher?
I feel like it's two different things. Wait. Usher like now or like Usher if they were the same age? Like if Usher
if they
was
were
like
the same
20,
age, would you do it? I'm actually curious.
Yes.
You would do it?
Well, yeah, because Usher can dance and like he gives performance and he's handsome. Like,
but the thing is, like, you know, the whole fan base thing. That's the hard part. Beloved by the fan base. Like, I could see your point with that, but I feel like trading Harry Styles would be tough because when he was in the height of One Direction, he was like so like ingrained in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe you could trade one of the others in the background for Usher. You know what I'm saying? What's one of the others? Who you can't trade Zayn, right? You can't trade Zayn.
What are you insane?
No, you can't trade Zayn. That's insane. Who's an other though? Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of flack for this, but
because that's sad. Because I was gonna say Liam, but he passed away.
And you know what? Liam did cross my mind too, but rest in peace.
Tough.
Rest in peace, Liam.
Rest in peace, him.
Hypothetically, though.
It would probably be, I think his name was Niall, because I always forget about him.
Well, there you go. So
the blind. I am a huge.
I think Niles and Usher would be an okay trade.
Niall, not Niles.
His name is Niall. That's an interesting name, isn't it?
You know what? This is a stupid segment.
What are we talking about, bro?
I don't know anymore.
But point is, you don't trade.
Oh, I would trade Lewis. See, I forgot about him. I forgot he even existed. At least I remembered Niall. Lewis, you gotta go.
Yeah, no, Lewis is gone. Lewis is gone for Usher. Yeah, we can trade Lewis for Usher. Matter of fact, they can have Niles too. They can have Niles too. Whatever his name is, they can have Niles too. We'll trade them both for Usher.
Anyway.
Yeah, Harry Styles, Zayn, Usher. That's actually all we need in One Direction.
I just said me personally. I'm just selfish. I'm trying to do that, but
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, the fans
they can keep JT too. They could keep Justin Timberlake as well. Actually, matter of fact, you know, we just take those three. We start a super team right there. That's the One Direction that's finest right there. Hell yeah. Look, let's circle back.
Okay.
To Luka Doncic. So whole point is you don't trade Luka Doncic. You don't trade Harry Styles. You don't trade Goku. You can't trade Goku for Naruto and them. You know what I'm saying?
Don't start on that.
We're not going to get into that. I'm sure folks get the point. There's some people you just don't trade, okay? But they do it anyway. Dallas does it anyway. And people had to speculate. People had to make speculations because this isn't something you do. So people watch closely for Dallas Mavericks reasoning. More specifically, the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks, Nico Harrison. He come in a press conference, stuttering, stammering, talking about, well, we traded him because we thought it was a good trade. And everybody agreed. Jason Kidd, the coach of the Dallas Mavericks, look at Nico like, who? Everybody? Nico said, yeah, everybody. We thought it was a pretty good idea. People cussing him out online, right? People talking about, I'm never showing up to a Dallas Mavericks game again in my life. I do not care. Anthony Davis pops in the city. He says, look, we gonna do it big. We gonna do our thing. Anthony Davis first game gets injured. Anthony Davis is very injury prone. You know what I'm saying? Not funny at all. Shout out that boy Anthony. But he comes out and boy falls out. People said, well, we knew that was gonna happen. Dallas, we're sure you guys knew that was going to happen. Mavericks, what's going on? Mavericks don't say a word. So it's time to speculate. It's time to figure out what might have went on behind the scenes for this trade to happen. And again, I want you to think of the question the whole time I'm telling you the speculations. How much speculation, how much evidence do you need to say, oh, that's a fact? Okay, let's start with Nico Harrison, the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks. He's very close to the Lakers general manager, Rob Pelinka. They both used to work with Kobe Bryant. Very close. Nico Harrison doesn't talk to anybody about this trade. No other team. Other teams were actually very upset in the NBA. They said, yo, we would have gave you everybody. We would have gave you the house for Luka Doncic. Why didn't you talk to us? Now, Nico has to answer that question because this is something you don't do in the NBA. You don't just go to one specific team. You shop around unless you have some ulterior motives, right? So he says, oh, no. The only reason I did that, not because Rob Pelinka's my friend. No. I did that because I really wanted Anthony Davis. The Mavericks really wanted Anthony Davis super, super, super badly. So people are like, okay, fine. Rob Pelinka, they asked him, were you surprised about this trade? Rob Pelinka said, surprise, boy. I was a little bit surprised, but
he thought it was a joke at first.
He thought it was a joke. He was saying that is if that's what he want to do, if that's what Nico Harrison want to do, that's fine, I guess. So it's something that everybody knows you don't do. So one, Nico Harrison, very close with Rob Pelinka. Two, Nico Harrison, not a big fan of Luka Doncic. Why? Well, I want you to lock in for this next part because you're about to hear a few names. Mark Cuban, the former majority owner of the Dallas Mavericks, was very, 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 very into basketball. He was very into the Dallas Mavericks as a whole. And he loved Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic and Mark Cuban would communicate all the time. If Luka had a question about basketball, he would talk to Mark Cuban. Nico was like, why don't you talk to me? Luke would be like, because you're not Mark. Stop playing with me. But Mark suddenly sold off the majority of his team to some billionaires who got rich off of gambling. That's important. Not them gambling, but like them doing casinos and all that. So they own 75% of the team. Mark, his stake goes down to 25% of the team. Luka continues to talk to Mark Cuban. Nico at this point is saying, okay, now you wildin'. Why are you still talking to bro over there? Like, you should be talking to Big Nico. You should be talking to Big Nick. Luka just felt more comfortable with Mark Cuban, apparently. So speculatively in Nico's head, he's thinking, boy, as soon as I get the chance to trade your ass, you gone, Luka. Hey, Luka's contract comes up. It's time to renegotiate Luka Doncic's sports contract. The billionaire owners say, we don't want to pay Luka that much because, again, Luka is a very good player. You got to pay him what he's worth. Millions upon millions of dollars. Billionaire owners don't seem to care about basketball as much as Mark Cuban cares about basketball. So they're saying, maybe just trade him. And a little more evidence to that fact is if any owner even has it in their head to trade their guy, to trade that Harry Styles, then you cannot care about basketball that much. Because first of all, for the general manager to do anything, the owners have to approve it. The owners would have to say, okay, you could trade Luka, you can't trade Luka. So the owners definitely had a stake in that decision. But the owners wouldn't make that move if they knew how it was going to affect their fan base. And people must have came to them and said, dude, if you trade Luka Doncic, you're going to lose ticket sales. Like, people are going to be very, very upset.
The fans brought a casket to the arena.
After
he got traded.
Crushed. People are saying, I will never show up to a single Dallas Mavericks game ever again. So I'm thinking, whoa, business mindset wise, that would be too ridiculous. So let's get into a little more speculation. Why would they do that? Nobody would shoot themselves in the foot figuratively, business wise. But it turns out that ticket sales, fan bases for sports in general aren't really doing it like they used to, aren't really making the money that they used to. It's all about sports betting nowadays. That's where team owners are getting a lot of their cut. And it seems, again, sports is going in that direction. And how sports betting comes into this whole thing is people aren't buying tickets to games anymore. People aren't going to watch their favorite players play. But people want to see how the player they bet on is doing. So they will watch the game. They don't need to go to the actual arena to do that. They'll pop it up on YouTube to figure out if their parlay popped off. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if a parlay can pop off. I barely know what a parlay is, to be very honest with you.
I thought it was like a fighting thing.
No, parlay is like betting. Someone with betting, but somebody's going to educate us in the comments. Shout out to y'all. But that's why a lot of people watch games nowadays. Sports betting organizations are sponsoring so teams can make money showing advertisements for those sports betting organizations. How much do they make for sports betting nowadays. Actually, how much do organizations make for?
So just to be clear, the betting operators are the ones who are paying the leagues.
Yeah. So the league isn't directly making money from sports betting. They're not. That's too illegal. That's leaning into like a conflict of interest. So the league isn't directly like saying we are saying bet on the games. They're just saying wink, wink, wink. If you bet on the games, you're probably gonna watch more of the games. That's where the league makes its money. If you see this ad on sports betting, we're not saying do sports betting. We're not saying that. But if you see this ad, we got paid from the ad. And you're going to do some more sports betting because you see the ad. So you're going to watch more games. You know, the leagues make more money that way. Okay. Want to go ahead?
So the NFL total revenue, they're going to see a total revenue rise by $2.3 billion
there you have it.
From this.
What, billion?
With a B. Dang. Capital B. And
wrong field.
The NBA, listen.
Whoa.
And the NBA is total up to $585 million.
There you go. Yeah. So people aren't going to games no more. They're thinking, bro, why would we care about this? So owner probably thinking, F them fans. F Luka. I'm going to save this money by not paying Luka. And I'm going to just make that money back doing the sports gambling, sports betting stuff. I'm thinking about the ad revenue I'm finna get for promoting sports betting. They don't need to see Luka Doncic to bet. They finna throw a parlay in and some random player from the Dallas Mavericks. They don't care. People are going to bet how many threes is Klay Thompson going to make in a game. And they're going to watch the game. They might not necessarily watch for Luka Doncic. You see what I'm saying? Now, this is all speculation, but it sounds pretty dang believable, does it not? It sounds more believable to me than we're going to trade Luka because we like Anthony Davis better. It's just not how teams usually do things. In like the 100 years that basketball has been around, now I'm curious, how long has the NBA been around? In like the 100 years the NBA has been around, they not sitting, no team is trading a franchise player. No team is trading Harry Styles.
78 years.
78 years, that was pretty close. No team is trading their franchise player for anybody. It just doesn't happen. So this happening for the first time in ever, there has to be a reason for it. People came up with a bunch of speculative evidence, really good speculative evidence, everything I just said in the video. And so the general manager has to respond. He says, I don't regret what I did. I thought it was a pretty good trade. Everybody said, boo.
I found out what a parlay is. It's pretty stupid. I just don't know why anybody would do that.
What's a parlay?
So basically, it's a wager type in which you can link multiple bets together.
Oh, is this too technical?
No. So basically,
okay.
Let's say you choose a parlay with like 5 bets. So 5 things need to happen in order for you to win this parlay.
Oh, yeah.
All
okay,
5
cool.
of them need to happen.
Yeah. Okay.
So this player has to get this amount of points. This
oh, that sounds really risky. Wow.
It's extremely high risk, but it's high reward too. But it's actually very uncommon for you to win a parlay. Dang. Like they take advantage of people who are like poorly calculating for that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. You know what? What's one of my favorite quotes? It said, what they say in Rush Hour, they said, imagine a world where you give people nothing and get everything in return, or something like that. Yeah, basically like saying like he was talking about, it was Rush Hour 2 and Mans was standing over a casino basically saying, dude, like I'm actually giving people nothing, giving people a dream, a false sense of hope. But they're giving me all this cash. He said, boy, that's how you make it. God bless the United States of America.
That's basically what he said. But it's facts. Like, come on, tighten up.
Oh, man. But, you know, that's why there are laws against gambling in the first place.
Yeah, it's highly addictive too.
Exactly. So that's why, again, there are laws against gambling in the first place. But some of those laws are being shaved away just a little bit. So people can make some cash because they're starting to see how much cash can be made from it. Politicians are also seeing that too, so they might be getting a little bit of change, a little bit of cash to change their minds speculatively, right? Speaking of politicians, matter of fact, I want to talk about Donald. I want to talk about Donald Trump a little bit. We're not going to talk about Donald Trump so much as a person, right, wrong, vote for him, not vote for him. No, we're not getting into that. We're staying in the realm of the video.
And wait, before you go too far, I just want to look at the camera and say, any celebrities that are in commercials for sports betting and gambling, I hate you.
Well, thank you for your very honest take. And just know Xevi won't ever sit here and promote gambling. Matter of fact, I've gotten a couple of offers to like promote some gambling. I said, hell no, boy, what you thinking? Nah, that's not. Ridiculous. It's just not our vibe. It's just not our vibe on this channel. All right, do what you want on other channels. All good. Do you? It's just not our vibe. It's just not our vibe on this side. Okay, so let's get back into Donald. So I posted a video about Donald Trump and his trade war against China. And
don't say it like him.
Did I say it like him? China? I did say it like him. I'm wilding. But his trade war against China. And it's not going very well for him, but that's besides the point. Point is, I see a comment on that video saying, hey, Donald Trump seems to have put on a bunch of tariffs on a bunch of countries because he's dabbling in something called insider trading. Now, you're going to hear a few terms in this segment of the video, but don't worry, they're not as scary as they may seem if you don't know what they are. First things first, what's insider trading? It's basically like you get insider info on the stock market. The stock market is kinda like gambling. But if you know what's going to happen in the future, it's not really gambling anymore. So it defeats the purpose of the stock market. So if you know when to pull your money out and you know when to put your money in to make a whole bunch of cash because someone told you what's going to happen. Matter of fact, let's just get into the story and it'll make more sense as it goes on. Okay. Trust me on this one. So they say Donald Trump, and one of my comments says Donald Trump added tariffs on a bunch of countries because he's dabbling in insider trading. Okay. So that's speculation and people have this speculative thought. But there's some evidence behind why people are speculating this. So when something huge happens in the world, usually it affects the stock market, especially when it's something unpredictable. Donald Trump putting a bunch of tariffs on every country is wildly unpredictable. So people are going to pull their money out of the stock market. They're going to say, oh no, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I don't know what's going to happen with my money. Let me pull it out. So the stock market tanks. The stock market crashes. Now, what insider trading is, when you start dabbling into a little bit of insider trading, is let's say Donald Trump tells you beforehand, he tells you, oh, by the way, what I'm going to do is add a bunch of tariffs. So the stock market's going to crash. So you might want to pull your money out now. If Donald Trump goes over to you and tells you that, and then you pull out all your money, that's insider trading, because now you're not playing the game fairly. Now you have insider information, okay? But people aren't saying that's what Donald did. They're accusing him of insider trading during this next part. Now, listen closely. While the stocks are going down, when he added in all those tariffs and the stocks went down, Donald said, if I were you, I would invest right now in the stock market. So people are thinking, ooh, that's peculiar. Why would he say something like that? He's saying, y'all, put your money in the stock market. Trust me, right? A few days later, he says, okay, I reversed my tariff thing. I'm taking all the tariffs off on all those countries. Stock market shoots back up because they're saying, oh, things are going back to normal. We can put our money back in. A lot of people make a lot of money because if you don't know how the stock market works, if you put your money in when people sell a bunch of things, and boy, I'm not no stock market expert. Man, look up a definition of the stock market.
Why just like, what is the stock market? They're gonna fucking raid this house. It's a stupid ass question. It's a little hard to like explain the stock market in a simple way. But let's just say if you put your money in when there's less money floating around in the stock market, when things are low, you're going to make more money when things get high again. Forget all that. If you're curious about the stock market, look up a definition. I'm sure somebody in the comments is going to explain to you exactly you're about to get a bunch of actually.
Yeah, technically, look, please. That's not important to the story. Don't worry too much about that. But people basically make a lot of money when Donald Trump is flipping back and forth between how he's moving the stock market. Donald Trump is going to tell you, no, I'm not doing that on purpose. But theoretically, right, if he was doing this on purpose, now you can start to see where the insider trading comes in. Because if he's the only person that knows he's going to add a bunch of tariffs and the stock market's going to go down, and he's the only person that knows when he's going to take those tariffs out, so the stock market's going to go up, all well and good. But if he starts to tell other people, his friends, by the way, tomorrow I'm going to add a bunch of tariffs on a bunch of countries, and his friends start pulling out their money early, if he starts telling his friends, oh, by the way, on October 10th, that's when I'm going to remove the tariffs again. Stock markets are going to go up. Everybody knows that. On October 10th, I'm going to do this. And his friends start adding money back in the stock market and they start making a bunch of money. You start leaning towards insider trading. Somebody named Marjorie Taylor Greene was a great example as to why people started speculating this.
Not bleach bomb, big bag. What did he call her?
Wait. She had a whole tiff with another senator. I believe the senator. Look that up for me. But Marjorie Taylor Greene apparently made millions off of Donald Trump adding in tariffs, removing tariffs.
So my favorite fact about Marjorie Taylor Greene is that, one, she is...
Well, first of all, she's a representative or a senator? She's
a United States representative.
Okay, so she's a United States representative. Okay.
Yeah, I speculate that she's mentally ill.
Yeah.
Personally, that's just me.
No, she'd be saying some wild things.
Yes, and she was getting into a heated argument with another representative named Jasmine Crockett.
Okay.
And started saying some racially coded things.
Yeah, shout out Jasmine.
Basically said something about like fix your eyelashes, or you're wearing those.
Marjorie's saying this to Jasmine. Yeah.
Marjorie's saying this, like, oh, like you got some crazy eyelashes on, whatever. Jasmine Crockett is a black woman, by the way.
Yeah.
And so Jasmine says, well, I mean, is it wrong if I say that Marjorie Taylor Greene has a bleach blonde, bad built butch body? Now that's a valid question.
Bad build, butch body?
Yeah.
Bleach,
I think it's a valid question.
Bad build. You know what's crazy?
I like the alliteration.
You know, that's what I'm saying. You got to give Jasmine Crockett, you got to give her a little bit of credit. That's on the spot. That's someone you don't get into an argument with.
Yeah.
That is on the spot quickness. She hit the 5 Bs.
Yeah.
She hit
six.
She hit the 6 Bs in a row. She didn't need no prep time. She didn't need no prep time like Batman and them. She just busted straight in. She said bleach bomb, bad bill, all that. Marjorie Taylor, I bet she said stuttering.
Oh, absolutely. Now it's, you've gone too far. You've gone too far.
No, what are you supposed to say to that? You can't come back. You can't come back with that. If somebody hits you with something, nah, bro, that's just someone you don't get an argument with.
I think she was being nice.
You just avoid that. Nice, damn.
Also, I would have added an extra B.
She hit the 6 B. Oh, you hit the 7 B. You hit the 7 B.
I would have been 7 Bs.
Anyway, back to the point. Really, Marjorie Taylor Greene may or may not have gotten some insider info, but you know. The interesting part about this is I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate because, look, people are basically saying Donald Trump knows Marjorie Taylor Greene. Donald Trump probably told Marjorie Taylor Greene when he was going to add tariffs, remove tariffs. So Marjorie Taylor Greene then knew when the stocks were going to rise and fall. But here's where I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate, okay? Because if you know anything about stocks and if you know things about how politics works, then you might be able to make some educated guesses. Like Donald Trump said himself, he said, if I were you, I would invest right now. He's speaking as a businessman, failed businessman, successful businessman, whatever you may call him. He's speaking as a businessman. He's saying, if I were you, I'd invest, because he knows, and people who know stocks knows the stock market's going to go back up again. They just don't know when. Okay. But he's saying, I would do it now. Okay. Now, the thing about Donald Trump adding tariffs in the first place is I can tell you right now, as a person who follows politics, is he wasn't going to keep those tariffs on forever. There was no way he's going to keep them on for maybe even a month. He was going to pull those tariffs off immediately. So maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene knew that. She's a politician at the end of the day. She's thinking, okay, there's no way he's going to keep these tariffs on for a long time. Let me invest in the stock market. I know he's going to pull the tariffs off very soon. The thing people are scared about is when. They just don't know when. They don't want to play with their money. But if you start diving into politics a little bit more and you see how badly Donald Trump is losing his trade war against China, you can now start to guesstimate times when he's going to pull out tariffs or add tariffs. Because let's get a little bit deeper. Every country in the world pissed at the United States right now. They're starting to look at other options, other superpowers that they can, communicate a lot more with. China being one of them. United States losing all of its friends. Donald Trump is thinking, oh my gosh, why would I add those tariffs on all of those countries? I'm losing all of my friends. To get back my friends, I need to pull those tariffs off right now. This trade war is going terribly. So now you can guess, okay, Donald Trump is definitely pulling off those tariffs like in a week. Less than a week, very soon. Here's another example for you. If you follow politics, you'll see I'm not joking with you when I say Donald Trump is losing this trade war really bad against China. He made a lot of blunders. You can say what you want. You can say, no, he's not. Don't invest in stocks. If you think emotionally, do not invest in stocks. He's losing the trade war really bad. So you can guess, you can make a very educated guess that Donald Trump is going to make a deal with China very soon, because he is losing a lot of money for American businesses right now. They're getting pissed off. It's not looking good for the economy. He's looking like a bad president. China's not backing down. He has to make a deal ASAP. I guarantee you within a month, look at the news, he's going to say he made a deal. If that affected the stocks, I would invest accordingly. You see what I'm saying here? So it may be a little presumptuous to say Marjorie Taylor Greene got information from Donald Trump when she could have probably guessed some of this information herself. That being said, that does not mean she didn't get information from Donald Trump. That doesn't mean people close to Donald Trump didn't get information from him, because let's be real. Let's start getting into a little more speculative facts. Donald Trump isn't your most honest politician on planet Earth. Donald Trump plays with stocks. Donald Trump runs businesses. Is it too far-fetched to think that he would manipulate stocks? Is it too far-fetched to think that he would call up one of his boys and say, hey, by the way, tomorrow I'm adding in tariffs. Hey, by the way, tomorrow I'm pulling out tariffs. Is it too far-fetched to say? He has a press conference. He says, hey, by the way, I made a lot of these guys. He's talking about his billionaire friends. I made a lot of these guys a lot of money with that whole tariff thing. So people instantly said, oh my gosh, there it is right there. Donald Trump, insider trading. And you ain't never finna catch me defend no Donald Trump. But what he's actually saying there isn't I made a bunch of these guys money because I was dabbling in insider trading. No, what he was saying was, remember when I told you guys to invest? These guys behind me listened to me. When I told them to invest in the stock market right now, they listened to me, so they made a lot of money. You know, Donald Trump likes to stroke his ego a little bit. He said, if you listen to me, when I tell you to invest, you better do it. When I tell you to put your money in the stock market, do it. When I tell you to pull it out, do it. These people behind me, listen to me. They made a bunch of money. That's what he's saying. He's not saying he was dabbling in insider trading. That being said, again, not too far-fetched to believe that the people he was talking about, he really did hit them up and say, hey, pull out your money here, pull out your money there. You feel what I'm saying? This reminds me of Martha Stewart. For those of you that don't know.
This is a strange segue.
But it's going to make sense. Trust me. It's going to make sense. For those of you that don't know, Martha Stewart, she had a cooking channel, right? She did something with cooking. Anyway, regardless.
She had a cooking show and a cookbook.
She had a cooking show. So, and a cooking book, she made a lot of money. She did a lot of investing as well. She got in trouble from the feds. She got in trouble for dabbling in some insider trading. Basically, she pulled out her money from this company when their stock went down, and she put it back in when their stock went up. At such a coincidental time that you need to ask yourself, how much evidence do you need to stop calling it speculation and start calling it a fact? The feds asked themselves that same question. But it's hard to prove if somebody's insider trading or not, Because they can say anything. They can say, no, I just felt like pulling out my money at this time. You don't know what's actually going on through somebody's head, right?
Justice for my girl Martha.
So, well, listen to this. Listen to me closely. When I say pulling out your money at a certain time or putting it in at a certain time, I mean it's such an unbelievable coincidence that you would decide to pull out your money at a certain time for some things that it may look like you see the future. They're really asking her, Martha, why would you pull out your money now? She said, because I felt like it. They said, okay, fine. But why would you put your money back in just when the company stock started rising again? It really looks like you knew what they were going to do before they did it. Martha said, no, I was just chilling. I just felt like doing it at that time. What you going to do, read my mind? Great argument, right? Well, she still got booked for it. She still got in trouble for it because she got snitched. And that's pretty much the only reason you can get in trouble for insider trading. One of her friends came over. She said, yeah, me and Martha, we was chilling. We was having tea. And it was a really close friend of hers. Went straight on the stand. She said, yeah, me and Martha, we was chilling. And then Martha told me she dabbled in insider trading. That's why she knew the stocks were going to go down. That's how she knew the stocks were going to go up. My girl Martha was insider trading. Martha says snitch.
Ooh, you can't tell people anything.
That's what I'm saying. You can't tell people nothing. But you know how you tell your close friend, your sibling, you tell them when you did something wild. That's why it was believable to a jury. They said, oh yeah, she probably definitely did that.
Okay, but you know what the penalty is for a congressman to insider trade?
What?
A $200 fine.
There you go. Bro, congressmen have some like weird thing like with insider trading, right? Like if you're an everyday person who dabbles in a little bit of insider trading, like you be getting locked up, right? Like you be getting into trouble, right? A congressman,
they will hang you in the town square.
$200.
But if you're a congressman, so basically Obama tried to ban insider trading for members of Congress.
And hold on, pause, Manda, real quick. And why Obama would try to do that is, again, going back to what we're saying about politicians. They know when things might happen, So it kind of gives an unfair advantage. If a congressman, it's just like the NBA and sports betting. It's why Michael Jordan got in so much trouble for gambling allegations. If you know what's going to happen in a game, you might be able to pull some strings to help people out, to make people some money, right? If you're a congressman and you decide, okay, I'm going to make this law to increase water production, then you might start investing in water. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why congressmen can really have a lot of pull in the whole insider trading thing. But go ahead. What was you saying?
Yeah. So obviously members of Congress, they had a lot of public outrage against Obama doing a ban on insider trading. I wonder why.
But why would they? You know what I'm saying? That's exactly. The crazy part. Yeah.
Actual pinheads. But they passed an act called the Stock Act, which the Congress had overwhelming support for. It's very suspicious. And the act required members of Congress to file disclosures of their stock trades within 30 days. So any trades that they do, they have to file it within 30 days. We can look online and see like the past stocks that they traded in. But if there is insider trading that happens in it, the penalty is $200. Wow. They gotta pay.
So they basically have to say, this is what I'm doing in the stock market. They just have to post it and say, this is what I'm doing in the stock market.
Yeah.
And if they are caught and they say, oh no, what you're doing is insider trading, then they have to pay a $200 fine.
Basically, and I'll take that. No, if I can get $2 million, here's $200 for free. Are you kidding me?
Golly, if I'm in Congress, I'm not gonna lie to you. Shoot. Have you ever cheated on a test? Stop playing with me. You know what I'm saying? In general, boy.
Well, I was the captain of that.
No, okay, well, let's cut that part out of the video.
Listen.
Take her degree.
One time I tried to cheat on a test, and I was trying to use like headphones to connect to my recorder because I had recorded the answers on it.
Wait, hold on, because that's too random. I need to tell my point real quick. Like, if you cheated on a test, then you might do a little bit of insider trading. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so easy to sit here and say, I would never insider trade, but golly, I'm not saying I would. IRS, chill out. I'm not saying I would, but I'm just saying, if you've ever cheated on a test and somebody gives you the answers about the stock market and says, hey, you about to make $2 million. I'm just saying you may or may not do a little bit of insider trading. I say you. I ain't saying me. I said you. Stop playing with me. What'd you do on that test though? I'm curious though. I'm curious.
So,
and let me write this down. Hold on. Where mom and dad at? Wait.
anyways, it was an anthropology class. It wasn't any of my computer science classes, but I recorded the answers on a recorder on my phone, and I plugged headphones in.
Oh my God.
I snuck up the headphone like up to my ear, like covering or hiding in my giant wig.
That's actually pretty smart.
Yes, and I'm like 2 rows in front of the professor.
Kinda. I feel like that's risky.
I mean, like, you have headphones in, you just play it, and like you can hear the whole thing. And so the professor says, "Okay, start the test." It's dead silent, bro. I pushed play on my thing in the entire class. So Jurassic Park.
Was it in your voice too?
Yes.
Wow.
It was clearly me
telling on yourself,
yapping loudly, saying all the answers.
Oh my goodness.
And the entire class turned to look at me. And the professor goes, "Oh, it seems like your study tool accidentally." I said, "Yes, girl. My study tool."
Hey, shout out your professor, man. Having your back, bro. Shout out to your professor. He said, "Man, whatever, bro."
Having your back. I think he was kind of a Nimrod, to be honest.
He said, "Whatever, bro." He said, "Charge it.
Shout out to him. I have definitely had like some.
Did you ace the test though?
Fails.
All right, we don't got to talk about it. That's fine.
Hey, you win some, you lose some.
Let's get back to the point. Donald Trump, insider trading, right? You got to see how easy it is to make that leap to insider trading, right? You got to see how simple it is. So the evidence that Donald Trump may have dabbled in a little bit of insider trading is, 1, it's an easy leap. Like, people be insider trading. 2, Donald Trump's friends made money. Donald Trump's friends made some cash. Is it too hard to believe that he may have hit him up with a little phone call, a little text? "Hey, broski, if I was you, I would do this at this time." You know what I'm saying? 3, it's hard to prove when somebody's insider trading. That's why people do it as well. You can't read people's minds. They can always sit there and say, "Look, I just decided to invest my stocks in there by coincidence." You gonna hit me? You gonna call me a liar? You gonna read my mind? Can't prove it, no matter how wild it looks. And I'm sure they're going to investigate Donald for this, but it's probably going to be for show. They know that nothing can stick with this. Donald Trump literally again has to turn around and say, "No, that's not why I added tariffs." That's it. That's all he has to say. Again, you can't read his mind. Unless Marjorie Taylor Greene comes out and says, "Oh, yeah, Donald Trump told me he was going to do this, that, and the third." That's the only way you would be able to do it. So
she's still fighting them beach blonde bush body allegations.
Yeah, she got other things to deal with right now. So you can imagine how Donald Trump might do that. Knowing that you won't get caught and you're going to make millions. It's either that or Donald Trump is a super honest guy and he would never tell anybody when he's going to do things.
How would he tell us when he's going to leave?
Oh,
please give me a break.
Lord. Does that kind of round off the whole Donald Trump thing? I think I made my point, right? Does that make sense? Like when it comes to speculation, like people have very good evidence as to why he would do this and that, but it's technically not 100% a fact, but dang, it's close, You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that.
That kind of makes sense, right? But really, like I was saying, the whole point of the video is just to pose that question. How much evidence do you need to call something a fact? You feel what I'm saying? How much evidence do you need before you can stop calling it speculation? Again, it's always going to technically be speculation. Everything I said in this video, all the stories I said in this video are all technically speculation. But when you start getting so much evidence, when can you call it a fact? That's pretty much the point. That's pretty much the whole point of the video. It's just a question that I always have to myself. And so we can just end the video right there. Again, shout out to you guys, man. Shout out to you guys for always tuning in. Shout out to you guys for popping in and listening to me and my producer, my sister, Yap. Shout out to my producer. Shout out to my sister. And leave those comments, man. Leave those constructive criticism comments. Let us know. No, really. Let us know where we can get better. Absolutely. Let us know.
I'm sensitive.
Oh, well.
Everyone's really nice, actually.
That's what I'm saying.
So much.
That's what I'm saying.
Kind.
Like, yeah. Everybody like kind of say on those comments.
Very, very kind.
Yeah. Very positive community and all that. So
yeah.
Kind
community.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So shout out to y'all folk again. And we're gonna be back again next week. You feel what I'm saying? But we out for now. Peace out.
I don't know about that.
Would you trade Goku for Naruto?
It depends on the situation.
What? No, it does not. Look, the comments are gonna flame you. Don't
If
say
I
that.
need talk no
Do not-
jutsu, I'm
do not
getting
go further than
Naruto.
that. But
Goku
Goku don't
know-
gotta talk. Goku just throw hands
But
straight
that's what I'm
up.
saying.
He
Goku
don't-
know
he don't need
whoop
to
first,
speak.
ask questions later.
Yeah, and I need that 100%
No,
of the time.
sometimes you
I
can
need
avoid.
a boy to box. I need a boy. I'm not training nobody for Naruto. Matter of fact, because Naruto like to do all that talking. Shout out Naruto. Shout out my boy Naruto. But he like to run his mouth. He likes to do all that talking.
Sometimes
boy,
it's necessary.
boy. Sometimes you gotta just throw. Where Rock Lee at? You know what I'm saying? Like
Hey, I
I
can't argue
need
with
somebody
that.
to straight up scrap. No talking. No talking. You know what I'm saying?
Look, you gotta be a diplomat sometimes. All I'm saying.
Okay.